Alright, I just got out of the theater and I just saw How to Train Your Dragon, the remake of the beloved animated film. The movie is just over 2 hours long, and I had a great time with this movie. I am someone that absolutely loves the original animated film, and I think this was a very faithful live-action adaptation. The story of Hiccup and all the Vikings and Toothless and the dragons is just such a classic. It is such a heartfelt story. And I thought director Dean DeBlois, I don't know how to pronounce it, did a great job bringing it to the big screen. But in live action this time, because we know that a lot of live action remakes of animated films don't turn out to be that great, but I think this is probably one of the best ones. Let's go ahead and talk pros and then cons, and then I will give you guys my rating out of 10. So my first positive is the CGI. I thought it was really, really well done. I like how they kept the design for Toothless to be pretty much the exact same because, they could have easily just made Toothless look like a generic dragon, but no, they literally took the design and just made him look real. Which I appreciate because I love the design of Toothless, that Night Fury, the design, whoever did that did a fantastic job. The other dragons look great too. There was never a moment in the movie where I was like, yeah, this looks a little rough. There was no really noticeable CGI or green screen effects or anything. Everything looked top-notch visually. Now, speaking about the visuals, I would say the cinematography in this movie was actually really good. Typically for like a family movie like this, it's alright. Like the director doesn't really have to cook that much, or I guess the cinematographer, but there was a lot of scenes in this movie where I was just looking at this and I'm like, damn, like this could be a poster, this could be artwork or something. Like there was a lot of beautiful shots in this movie. Then I would say the story. Like I said, this is pretty much just a remake but in live action, and I love the story in the original animated film, and they kept pretty much everything beat for beat the same. So I love the story in the animated film, so therefore I love the story in the live action adaptation. I just really love the whole father-son dynamic between Hiccup and Stoic, and then I also love the conflict that the Vikings have with the dragons and how they have to overcome that and embrace them. And then I also am a sucker for any movie that involves someone bonding with like a pet or an animal. As a dog dad myself, I picture myself with my dog Daisy whenever I see this kind of relationship play out in a film or a TV show. So it really tugs on my heartstrings, like whenever I watch Hiccup and Toothless just bonding, I really enjoyed watching that. Then I would say the music and score of this film is phenomenal. That was something that really stood out for me when I saw the animated film for the first time, I believe last year actually. I was like, damn, whoever is making the music for this movie is cooking. And they use a lot of the same songs and everything in this film, which I really appreciate because that's what really elevated the animated film. This song right here, Test Drive by John Powell, it is an incredible piece of music. I definitely recommend to download it. I sometimes even listen to it at the gym, that's how good it is. It just gets me hyped up, and watching the movie in live action with this song playing during the whole test drive scene was incredible, and I saw it in IMAX, so it was just a really great experience. Next, we got to talk about Gerard Butler as Stoic. He actually voiced him in the animated films, and then he's playing him again in live action, which I thought was really, really cool. They could have went with someone else, but I'm glad they went with Gerard Butler because he absolutely crushes it as Stoic. He is definitely one of the standout performers, 100%. And then also Mason Thames, who is only 17 years old, which I thought he was like 20-something, but I guess he's only 17, so he can easily make How to Train Your Dragon trilogy by the time he's like 24, which is kind of crazy. But he was great as Hiccup. He had a lot of the mannerisms that Hiccup had in the animated film. He even sounded like him at some points, and overall I thought he delivered a really great performance, and I can't wait to see him again in the sequel because we know a sequel is going to come after the success of this movie. Then I would say the supporting cast was pretty good, but unfortunately we didn't get to spend a ton of time with them, but I thought the people that they casted in the roles were good. I just wish they had more to do. Which leads me into my first negative, which is that these side characters didn't really do a whole lot. Like, they pop up here and there, but we don't really get to, expand their stories or learn about them or really get invested in pretty much any of them besides Astrid. And that ties into another negative that I have, is that they didn't really expand on the animated film. They pretty much just did the same thing. And I think they should have given more screen time to these side characters, maybe give them, like a side story or something to really loop them into the main story a little bit better. Because they really do just pop up here and there, and that's pretty much it. We don't really get to learn anything new about them or anything along those lines. Then I would say the romance between Hiccup and Astrid did feel kind of forced in the movie. Like, they don't really interact at all until, maybe, I don't know, a third of the way into the movie, and then they're just, like, falling in love right away, and I'm like, okay, this feels a little too quick, a little too forced. I feel like it was done a bit better in the animated film, and I definitely think they could have improved on that in the live-action version, but unfortunately, it did feel kind of forced, and I didn't really feel the chemistry either. But yeah, guys, not a ton of complaints, honestly, with How to Train Your Dragon. Like, they really were faithful to the animated version. They didn't change things up and make it worse. They literally just stuck with the original source material and brought it to live action, and I had a great time watching it. There's a lot of really great scenes. A couple other positives I forgot to mention was the action. Some of it was pretty good, and the comedy was decent as well. And with that being said, I'm going to give How to Train Your Dragon an 8 out of 10. I think this is a great live-action adaptation of an animated movie. And this is how you do it, Like, you don't have to go change a lot of things. Just literally bring the animated version to life. You don't have to do that and change a bunch of things and annoy the people and fans of that original film. You just gotta make it in live action. It's super simple. Like, Disney needs to learn from this. Because when Disney makes a live-action adaptation, they change like 30% of it, and then it just annoys everybody. Makes it a heated discussion online, and you really don't have to do that. Just do what How to Train Your Dragon did. Just do it in live action. That's it. Super simple. So guys, there you have it. That is my review for How to Train Your Dragon. I definitely recommend to go check this out in theaters. I would say go check it out in IMAX or even in D-Box with the moving seats. I think this movie would be incredible with the moving seats. Like, all the flight scenes and all that. The test drive scene with the mobile seats would be incredible. I think this is a great family movie. This is a great summer movie. It's getting really good reviews. Like, it's just a really solid time at the movie, so please go check it out. That's it for me. If you guys have seen the film, let me know down below in the comments what you think about it. And subscribe for more reviews.